allegation on the floor of the Georgia State Senate that Fulton County's voter rolls have been, and continue to be a complete mess. And today we're going to bring you the receipts. Currently, in the state of Georgia, it is illegal to be registered to vote from anywhere other than your primary residence. Can't register to vote at UPS stores, can't register to vote at homeless shelters, can't register to vote under an overpass. But today, and this is as of the January 5th Fulton County voter rolls, about 70 people are registered to vote right here. We're going to bring you a couple more locations to show you that this is not an anomaly. Fulton County has got to get their act together. All right, y'all, this is 850 Oak Street in Fulton County, and there are 19 people registered to vote at this abandoned house. And so again, this is on the Fulton County Registrar. They've got to clean up their voting rolls. This is not a new problem. And remember, back in 2020, absentee ballot request forms were sent to every single registered voter, including at locations just like this.
Whether you want it or not.
All right, so we are at 1445 Woodmont Lane, physicaladdress.com, 138 people registered to vote, but I've got a treat for you. This is Jason Frazier. Jason, come on in the frame here. Jason is the guy who's done all of the heavy lifting on this. He and David Kate are the two folks that brought this to my attention. Jason, how hard was it to figure out that you had thousands of people in Fulton County registered to vote from illegal voting locations?
You know, it's not that difficult. The hardest part is getting a copy of the voter rolls. I mean, not everybody wants to spend $485 for the statewide voter roll, but essentially once you get it, just sort it based on number of people who want address. And this one jumped real far out of the page because there's 138 people registered to vote here. And when we turn the camera, you'll see it's just it looks like it used to be a house, but now it's a commercial virtual mailbox. So I can't fathom there's 138 beds in that house, so they can't be registered to vote there.
Here's the thing, Jason, that's really compelling to me. The county has every piece of zoning information. They know this is a commercial location. They obviously can do easy database sorting and searching. You also, though, have identified 1,000 people that were born in the year 1900 that are on the Fulton County voter rolls. Wow. You identified a couple hundred other people that very much seem to be the same person, same name, same
Hello, sir.
address,
How can I be of help today?
Yeah. And tell us about some of that.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of folks across
Excellent.
Georgia
It's on its way.
1800 or 1900 as their date of birth, which means what I've heard is that means they don't know their date of birth. If Fulton County or anywhere in the state, they don't know your date of birth, how can they be checking to see if you're a legal resident?
They're not.
And a lot of these, we were talking about the duplicates, they'll have two people registered at the same address with the same year of birth and slight variations of their names. So maybe it's Bob and Robert, maybe it's Bob and Bob. And it's clearly the same person at that address, but and you don't know their date of birth, how in the world do we know they're a U.S. citizen? And that just needs to be cleaned up so we can verify everything.
And here's the last thing I'd like to say. The fact that people like Jason and David and, a number of other people from Derek Somerville to Mark Davis to Philip Davis have had to do this kind of work on their own is frankly absurd. The Fulton County Registrar, this is their job. They are the ones that are supposed to keep the voter rolls clean.
Yeah, I got it.
Like I said before, Willis got mad when I said it. It's always Fulton County. And Fulton County has got to get their act cleaned up. Jason, thank you for the work that you guys have done. Super, super grateful. Thank you. I'm going to head to the next location, and I think we're heading next to maybe a homeless shelter.
Perfect.
But ironically, there's a homeless shelter across the street from the Capitol with 1,900 people.
Yeah, they've had as many as 2,300, 2,400 is most I've seen, and I mean, you can go right on their website. They don't have that many beds. This is a problem.
All right, this is 477 Peachtree Street. There's 70 people registered to vote here. It's a homeless shelter that closed in 2017.
Wow.
All right, y'all, here we are, 2625 Piedmont, another UPS store, 96 registered voters right here in direct violation of Georgia law. Not hard to find for us, apparently pretty hard to find for Fulton County.
Yeah, they don't want to find it because those are their voters. And you extrapolate this out, right? It's happening at UPS stores and homeless shelters to the tune of 100 or maybe 1,000 in some of the higher locations. The margin of victory in 2020 was about 11,000 votes. So you can easily see how quickly you can make those numbers up. And it's not just the fraud in the registration process, it's also in the counting process. And remember that Rudy, who was attacked relentlessly for trying to investigate fraud, said that they just got their hands on the 2020 ballots, and the deputy directors there, Tulsi, is everybody showing up to make sure this is done appropriately. Now, an FBI command center has also been set up, but remember, Biden won, allegedly, by only 11,779 votes, even though they admitted to certifying 315,000 fraudulent early votes that didn't have any signatures that validated them. Shared here today by Anders Hall over on X. Some time ago, there was an email that looked like this, sent from this person called Derek McKay, July 16, 2020. And it went out to a bunch of the Fulton County, Georgia people. You see them all listed here. And they're talking about how they can access the machines remotely, which we were told was not allowed to happen. So Terrence is the recipient of this email. Someone says, hey, Terrence, I wanted to circle back to this support plan for technicians at the early voting sites. We have questions about whether this user, whether an elections.tech super user, can log into the laptop and just change whatever they want. They say, of course they can, in fact. Elections.tech does function as a super user, and it doesn't have admin rights capability, but it can do whatever, essentially, they want. So they have a question. Can we sync our abilities? Can we use link across all of the sites so that we can make sure everything is linked up? They respond, yep, Ali can remote in and take over the machine. On the new Dell laptop unit, 64-bit Office, Windows 10, link does not work. There's an error in the intact picture, and we cannot find the Skype server, but we can just hop on in there. Saying the whole point of this is that they can just be quick. If they could not log into the machine, then at least they could call staff, and then the machines could let them in. The people on the machines allow them to remote in to take it over, and then they can make adjustments. Now, we don't have the personnel to be running out there. I mean, so if you have a problem over here, and then one over there, and then over there, then we can't get to them all. So just let's set it up so that we can remote in as super users and do whatever we want, which is a real concern when you don't have people validating the count. So David Schaefer, of course, is over in Georgia, and he said, Fulton County has admitted to double scanning and double counting thousands of ballots in 2020. It has also acknowledged that 18,000 ballot images have also mysteriously disappeared. Only in Bizarro World would these be called a normal balloting process. They are in meltdown mode over in Fulton County. How dare you touch our files? We did everything perfectly appropriately, although we know that is not true based on their own admissions. And why was Tulsi Gabbard there? Why was Tulsi Gabbard there? Well, the Director of National Intelligence and her office have now responded, explaining Director Gabbard recognizes that election security is essential for the integrity of our republic and our nation's security. That came from Olivia Coleman, a spokeswoman. As DNI, she has a vital role in identifying vulnerabilities in our critical infrastructure and protecting against exploitation. And all of this is corroborated by the Georgia and Fulton County election workers themselves, like this woman who said, we were getting strange anomalies in our ballots. We were seeing ballot after ballot going for Biden, 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 and it didn't make any sense.
I estimated that somewhere between 80 and 90% were going to Joe Biden. I saw another Biden, 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 and then I'm going through batches. 100% of the batches were Biden. I find that statistically impossible.
And it was because they were fake ballots. But they accepted them, then they told all of us we were conspiracy theorists, and then they covered up the evidence. But now the FBI has their hands on them. Bridget Thorne, she's the Fulton County Commissioner, and she just says, we have been fighting so hard to prevent you from getting these records that are now in the FBI's possession, courtesy of a warrant by a federal judge, saying that they really, really, really did not want anybody to see them. Why is that?
I have to say that we haven't been briefed yet by our county attorneys, but we have spent millions of dollars in outside legal counsel to fight anybody from ever seeing the actual election materials, the actual ballots, since 2020. So there's been a lot of questions raised. They've admitted there's been a lot of issues with the election, but they blocked it at every turn of anybody actually getting to see the physical ballots. I know.
And they don't want them to see the ballots because they know what is going to be discovered. So Rudy Giuliani